Hello everyone, and welcome to something a little bit different that you haven't seen before on my blog site thing. It's normally when I do an introduction repost to a new save, I like to go through who the best players are in my team, and unfortunately, writing that out is a little bit time consuming, and I don't really have the motivation for it. I find it a bit boring. So what I decided to do is go record a little video of me going through everyone in the squad and in the youth setups who I believe is going to be good enough. I won't go through all the youth players. Anyone with a decent, potential ability, I'll obviously look at. So yeah, this is just so if when I'm talking about the save going on in general, I tell you that so and so has scored a goal, you know who I'm talking about. I don't want you to go thinking. I don't want you asking me on Twitter or in the comments who's Lingard, and what why wasn't he mentioned before? So for me, it's a really important thing. As you've noticed on the screen at the moment, face packs, logos packs, and kit packs, stuff like that, haven't been installed just yet. I'm hoping to do that later on today, which is at the moment Friday the 3rd of March, about 10 to 1. So I'm hoping by the time you read this, it'll probably be it'll be on probably the Saturday morning. To give you something for the weekend, as you can look in the towards the middle right of your screen, financially, we're quite a solid team. £44 million in the bank with a pretty measly transfer budget of 2.68 million. I'm not going to be looking to buy that many players in the opening window. I'm hoping to build my squad on who's already here. Tactically, it's going to be different. I'll probably change it based on the opposition. Who plays. Obviously, if it's a physical team, I'll play more physical players. But by the same sort of system won't change too much. The style of play again won't change, but there'll be different variants. So probably it'll be my normal style of play, which is attacking, pressing, winning the ball back, playing quite quickly, and the transitions and such. So let's get into the team. There have been some games already, I believe. Let me just check that. It's all just friendlies. Okay, 1-0 win over at Vidderburg FF, then St Pat's Athletic, Shamrock Rovers and Galway. Obviously, we had a tour of Ireland. We won all 4 games without conceding a goal and scoring 6. So let's get into the squad. Already my default view has been set up. We'll go through it in terms of who plays where. Best position, there we go. Goalkeeper. Johan Wieland is up first as I try to get comfortable. Let's have a look at him. Yeah, really good goalkeeper. I like to play sweeper keeper because my defensive line can be quite high. He's got all the right attributes for that. His one-on-ones, reflexes and rushing out are really good. I don't know why rushing out isn't actually highlighted as a thing for a sweeper keeper role. I thought that would be there. His pace of 10 is not great coming out to sweep loose balls, but he is 35 years of age. 9 Sweden caps. That is something that is important for me. I want players who will be good in the for their international teams. Spent most of his career elsewhere in Copenhagen and joined last season on a free transfer, playing 14 games. So we'll go back now to Fredrik Andersen, who's 27, a very, very, I think the coaching summary sums it up there. Useful player. He's not somebody who's going to be starting the games. We're definitely going with Wieland. And he's a good player to have on the bench if we get an injury. So that's what I'm expecting, just to him to be back up. He's not played a game for Malmo. That is a horrible name to pronounce. Skeen IF, I can pronounce that one. So that's him. Let's go to Andreas Windheim at fullback. Another really solid looking fullback, 20 years of age. I have decided, I said this is going to be a youth challenge for Sweden. I'm thinking of making it a Scandinavian one. So that includes the likes of Denmark, Finland, Norway, Iceland, along with it. He's a Norwegian, Andreas Windheim. He's been capped 5 times to the under-21s. Very good going forwards. If you look at his wing-back attributes, his crossing is good, his dribbling is solid. He can mark, pass, tackle. He can do pretty much everything. The only worry is his positioning. At 9, which we'll get him trained on. But his work rate of 16 is the one that really stands out to me. And he's 6 foot. I like to have my fullbacks aerially competent. I want all my defenders to be over 6 foot. So 5'11" at a push. I like physicality in my team. I don't like my team to be bullied in the first 2 phases of the pitch, defence and midfield. And then as you go forward, they can become a little bit more nimble and creative. So yeah, Windheim looks good. Also cover at right wing if we need it, which is excellent as well. Up next, Anton Tinnerholm, another fullback. Another very solid fullback, 24 years of age, a Swede who's played 6 times for the national team. 5'9", not bad. Could probably do a job in central midfield as well. although it wouldn't be brilliant there. Here's another very good, solid player. He's not somebody I want to sell, even though his value looks quite good. And but I don't think he's as good as I forgot his name already. Vindheim. I don't think he's as good as him. So, there'll be a good competition for a place there. Vindheim is the long-term option, obviously. At 20 years of age, you're going to have him in your team for a long time. Behrang Safari is next. Left back, 31 years of age, will probably stay for 2 more seasons. He'd be good at tutoring the youngsters. His mental attributes are absolutely fantastic, as are his physicals for a 31-year-old. He reminds me a bit like James Milner. Just somebody who's very, very solid on what he can do and what he's good at. I will. He's definitely the sort of player I'd want in my team. And he will also provide a helping hand to Park Konate, the Swedish fullback, who will be an excellent player in the future at 21. If we give 2 years... give him 2 years to get to grips with it, and he'll be definitely in the first team in a few years' time. Up next, Lasse Nielsen, centre back, 28, very experienced. I like a good experienced centre back coupled with an inexperienced one, so they learn from each other. I don't mind playing 2 centre backs who are young, 2 centre backs who are old. Doesn't really matter to me as long as they can do the core things, and he can do the core things. His heading, marking, tackling, and positioning are all excellent. He's very good at teamwork, at very good work rate, and he's got very solid physicals for a centre-back. I like my centre-backs to have pace. And there's a Skype notification. Sorry about that. Up next, Rasmus Bengtsson at centre-back 29. Another experienced centre-back, but again, physically not really dwindling as of yet. 6'1", good pace, good strength and stamina. His heading, marking, tackling, and positioning are all really good. His mentals... fantastic. I don't expect him to have brilliant vision or flair, so I'm not worried about that. And his off-the-ball work is probably not that important. Concentration of 14. Concentration is one of the most underrated attributes, or underlooked at attributes in Football Manager, because you want your team to be fully switched on. If you've got low concentration, they won't switch on, and they won't read certain situations as well as they would at the start of the game, when they will be ready to fight for the ball. So yeah, the concentration decisions are 2 ones that you want. You want your centre backs to have good high attributes in that, so they are making the right decision and they are staying switched on to all threats at any time. Felipe Carvalho at 22 is the one who'll be replacing one of these in the team in the next few years. The only problem I've got is Uruguay, and I do want to build a team full of Scandinavians, so I could be looking to move him on in the future. I'm giving everybody 1 year, a transition period of 1 season. So if he plays in that 1 season, that's fine, but he will be gone by next summer at the very latest. Now at the earliest. His positioning is quite poor, something that needs to improve on, but he's an incredibly strong centre back who is quite tall and a good jumping reach. Again, heading, marking, tackling, his core attributes are very solid indeed. Franz Bråsen, he's 20 years old, and another one who I will definitely be looking to play in the next few years. Swedish at 20, as I say, a really solid centre back. As all of my centre backs are, which is really nice. The core attributes are fantastic. His mental attributes are considerably good in the ones we want from him. We want his aggression, anticipation, bravery, concentration, determination. The ones that I highlighted, we want them to be at least a 12. And again, really good physicals as well. Agility and balance, not great, but they can obviously be worked on. We've got the really good core, I think, for a good defence, and that is exactly what I want from my team. You don't win anything without a good defence, so it's important for me that we have solid foundations to build from that gives our attacking players a little bit more freedom to go and express themselves and get goals. I like to score a lot of goals and concede very few. But hey, if we score 5 and they score 4, we still won the game. 3 points is all that matters at the end of the day. Dennis Hadzikanovic. He is 17 and is a prospect who, to be honest, I'm going to move him into the other 21s, mainly because I don't see him playing this season or even next season. He's got a lot of room to manoeuvre his marking and tackling. I want them to be at least a 12 for reaching the first team, along with his positioning. His fitness, excellent, and his strength, jumping reach are really solid, but the rest are quite poor. I'm actually going to just put his training schedule on now. Just tell him to move. Just be a central defender, get that sorted, and he won't be in the team going forward just yet, but he is one for the future. Now here's a player, actually the first one I've actually heard of Oscar Yuriki. Excellent midfielder, defensive midfielder. Could do a variety of roles. His favourite one is ball-winning midfielder, but you can see he's a very solid playmaker, good half-back. I don't tend to use a Regista. I think they're a little bit too offensive for my liking. Don't provide the defensive cover you need from them. But as a defensive midfielder, he's really solid. But he can also step up into that midfield line here. A deep line playmaker and ball-winning midfielder, probably the two I would use him as. I tend to use a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. So again, he'll fit into both. But if we do play the 4-3-3, which has been my preferred formation on this version of Football Manager, he'll play at the base of that as a deep line playmaker or just a defensive midfielder. Really solid stats, attributes, but he can get better. He's 23. He's not into the prime of his career yet. That's in the next 3 years. So I'm expecting a little bit more growth from him. And hopefully, over time, when he gets towards 28, 29, when we're looking to sell players, he'll come at a very tidy fee. A career started at Malmo before going to Bayern and then Häcken in Sweden before joining Malmo on a free transfer last season. Excellent signing from Malmo there. Matthias Svanberg is next on the right of the midfield. Another player who I'm actually going to keep in the team because I think he's somebody who off the bench could provide it, but provide a good service. But I am going to make him available for the under-21 squad for 45 minutes a game. This just keeps his match fitness and development going. I don't want him sitting in the first team in the reserve, like not on the bench, rotting his career away and not developing. I want him to be playing first. I want him to be playing football. 6'1". Another physical player. I like physical players, as I said, but he could play, if you look at his position on that, he could play a lot of positions. Defensive midfield, all the way across the midfield line, the attacking midfield line, and up front. He's not somebody I would put into midfield just yet, and he's quite a raw talent. His crossing for a right midfielder is not good enough, so we'll get that trained, and we'll get a good player from him. No youth caps as of yet, but hopefully that will come in the coming season. Yoshimar Yotun is on the left-hand side of the field. Another really solid option, Peruvian. Can't play wing-back, left-back. I've got two really good left-backs, so I probably will not be playing him there. So I think he's probably a player who he'll be one of the first I look to shift on. Valued at 475k, he's on 3.1k a week. So it's quite a solid chunk of the wage budget right there. And he can't play brilliantly in the attacking midfield left position, which I like to play people in. So his attributes are really solid. And he'd be a very good central midfielder if he wasn't 25. If he was 20, of these sorts of attributes, I'd probably retrain him as a central midfielder. But being Peruvian, and obviously with the 1 year transitional window already underway, I'll be looking to move him on into a new club in the near future. Probably this summer, maybe the winter or next. We are in the winter. This winter, in the summer, or next winter. I keep forgetting that the Swedish leagues are at a different time to everyone else. Anders Christensen. Now, he's not the one who plays for Chelsea. He on loan at Borussia Mönchengladbach at the moment. No, it's not him. It's central midfielder Anders Christensen. Really solid mental attributes, but I think in terms of technically, he's a little bit limited. Good passer of the ball, but his marking isn't great. It's just, as a midfielder, he's a little bit weak. But he's somebody who I would think that if you asked him to play a certain role, he would do it, and he would do it well. I don't think his progress as a footballer has been helped by the fact he made just 4 appearances for Chievo in 2 years. Mentally, he's an excellent player and would be a really good player to have for tutoring youngsters later on in the save. So yeah, I will keep him around. Being Danish, he's Scandinavian, so he's allowed to stay. I do want at least 70% of my squad to be Swedish, and the rest made up of Danes, Finns, and Norwegians, maybe Icelanders if we get any good ones coming through. They're the sorts of leagues I'm going to be looking through. Players under the age of 19, I can be from anywhere when I sign them, and then I can sign any Swedish players I want, preferably under the age of 26, I think. Erdal Rakip, I think is another one I've heard of, and he has the potential to be an excellent player in central midfield. Certain areas that need working on. He's 5'10", but his heading's not great at 7. His tackling isn't brilliant either, so he's quite a technical footballer in terms of not really wanting to get into the challenges too much. But I like my players to be combative and difficult to play against. I want them to get stuck in. I do like the fact that he made his debut for Malmo in 2013, which was 3 years ago. So when he was 17 years of age, so he's an excellent player to look out for. As is Eric Anderson, 18 years of age. This is the man who I think will carry our club forwards in the future. If you look at him at 18, he's already a 2.5-star ability player for the team, and he can only get better. I'd expect solid attribute growth in the next 3 years, and he'll become, I think, a really good midfielder. Probably looking at the likes of the top divisions in Italy, France, Germany, probably not England, but definitely those sorts of ones, teams trying to pick up a bargain. We definitely won't let him go without a fight. We want this player here, and we'll do everything we can to keep him. Next, we have got Tobias Sana, a right winger, who will be playing with Pavel Cibicki. He's solid. His pace is okay. Dribbling's fantastic. And his crossing's good. Not somebody I'd want to play too regularly, I don't think. But he's an excellent player to have off the bench. And at 26 years of age and Swedish, he's got the experience and the know-how to do well. He's played just 19 league games for Malmo and Ajax. Obviously, he played 17 between 2012 and 2015. His strength and his fitness do worry me slightly, as does his work rate. So if there was a good offer to come in, probably around the 1 million, 1.2 million mark, I would think about accepting that, because I think we can invest the team in other places. So here is Pavel Cibicki. He's 22 years of age, playing really well in terms of his rating. Now he's they say he's a striker. I haven't looked at my strikers yet, so at the moment I would look at him as a striker and a right winger. Excellent versatility, that's what I really like. I like a versatile player across the front line. I want my forwards to play across the front three. Not so bothered about an attacking midfielder because I don't always play them. But as I said, I'll look at the squad and see which formation suits the squad. But I'm looking forward to using Cibicki against Swedish. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right, so if I'm not, you can criticise me as much as you want, but I don't come here to pronounce things properly. I would like to think I do it better than some. Joy Winger Birgit, another one you would have heard of if you supported Cardiff or Celtic. A lot of people thought he'd be a really good player when he joined Cardiff, me included, but it didn't work out for him. Inside forward on the left-hand side, right-footed. He's an excellent player, and he's definitely somebody who will be in my team from the start, one we'll be relying on. He's already made a good impression at Malmo with 9 goals in 27 league appearances since he joined. He scored 41 league goals in 171 games, so he's a solid player on the left-hand side. I would like to think he is my Marco Reus, and he's an excellent player to have in the team and someone we're building around. Magnus Wolf Ekrem, another one who you would have heard of if you liked Cardiff. It's another a Norwegian. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer probably had quite a bit of a say in that. An excellent player, but somebody who I'll only keep for about 3 years as we look to develop the young Swedes. If I can get 2 and 3 million for him in the future, I'll sell him now, but I don't think I will. So yeah, he's a really solid player to have. He's an attacking midfielder, but can play in that central midfield role, which I'm happy with, and he's also good on both flanks. Excellent versatility again, and that's something I'm really, really impressed with some of these players. Now, Marcus Rosenberg is a Swedish Hall of Famer, especially if you played Football Manager 2007 and Werder Bremen, an excellent footballer there. He's always had a good career, played a bit at West Brom, but Werder Bremen was where he made his name. He's my sort of striker. 6 foot, somebody with decent pace, but he's good in the air. He's a complete forward. He'll play probably for a season. He's still got it. He scored 26 and 56 on Malmo. And he'll also help Alexander Jeremejeff. That is an incredible name, by the way. Jeremejeff. It is Jeremejeff. It's probably like Jeremejeff or something like that. But no, he's not my sort of striker. I don't like them too tall as target men, and not my sort of player. I could probably see him moving on in the next few seasons. Going to the under-21s, there's a lot of high potential players here. Some of them obviously aren't on loan. We'll look at Marco Johansson, solid goalkeeper on at Trelleborgs. Not a sweeper keeper just yet. He's probably somebody who, to be honest, I can't recall. I'd like to recall and train and play in my youth team. Unfortunately not. Pavel Vagic, another player who looks really good. Can we get him tutored by Inga Burnett? Yeah. We're going to get him. We're getting him tutored. Because Birgit's an excellent player. 16 years of age, he's got a lot of room to move into. And again, another goalkeeper, Jakob Tanander. What can I say? He looks okay, but will probably not make it in the Malmo team. Laurent Shabani in central midfield, another solid player that needs a lot of work, but at 16, he'll get that opportunity here because that's the sort of thing I want to do. I want to promote the youth players and they'll be good. Matthias Svanberg, I think we've already put him in here, haven't we? Yeah, we've already seen him. Anton Kyle, left back, doesn't look like he's going to set the world alight. His crossing isn't great. His passing's not wonderful. Positioning's quite poor. So another player, I think, where the star attribute stars can actually mask it. I think can get it a little bit wrong. We've seen Hadzikanovic, Max Olsen. Okay, again, a lot of these youngsters, they look like they're going to be good because they're potential ratings, but this is in comparison to these players that are already there, so it might not be so good. You look there, you think all 4-star potential. He does not really showing anything that's going to suggest he's going to be 4-star, but we will do all we can to make sure these players, at least, as I said, I wanted to sell any players who I don't want to other teams in Sweden. We can at least bulk the league up, with these sorts of prospects. And in the under 18s, 19s, one real prospect, Teddy Bergqvist, looks very good for a 16-year-old, somebody who I'll be looking. I always put them on a complete forward one because it just trains the most attributes in general, which is really nice to see. I sorted that out. And then Nilsson, not bad. So that's basically the squad report of who's good. In terms of the transfer window, I'll probably write a little bit more about this than I will say it now. I'm looking for a new striker, I would think, because I don't think Yeremyev, I'm going to pronounce it as that because I don't think it's Jeremyev. I'm happy with the wingers. I think they're good. I think we could do with one more in midfield just to provide a little bit more balance. Probably a defensive midfielder, actually, just to give Oscar Lewicki a little bit of support. I might go for one more centre-back who's around 24, just to provide an option. Happy with both full-backs. 2 of each is fantastic. The basis of the squad is looking like a 4-3-3 and a 4-2-3-1, as I said. I can quickly make it. I play my 4-3-3s like this, and have that person in the hole operating. I also play inside forwards because I want them to be more like wide strikers rather than midfielders with overlapping fullbacks on the wing. So that's what I want for my team. And I have sweepkeeper on attack. Put deep line playmakers in there just so they like the ball. That is pretty much how I'm going to set up. And I'll probably have a complete forward on support. That is how I normally set up. Out of possession, it becomes a 4-3-3. In possession, it becomes a 4-2-3-1. It's the best way of creating flexibility as a formation. So yeah, that is pretty much all I've got to say about my squad report. If you have any questions, obviously you can get in touch with me on the comments or on Twitter at FMPivot. And hopefully you enjoy reading the rest of the article and will follow me on this lovely, lovely youth save with Malmo. Thank you very much.